All right. So we are live. I am with my guest, James Mooney.
What's up?
We were originally set to have a third, which would have been cool to get another perspective from the film, but she wasn't able to come on. But James, how you doing tonight?
All right, buddy. Pretty good. How are you?
All right, good. So you just got done. Well, you rewatched it today, but you watched The Conjuring 3. I watched The Conjuring 3. I watched it twice.
Yeah.
We're going to go over our overall thoughts, our overall review of it. And then if you feel like it, we don't have to do the whole entire franchise, but if you want to rank it between the three films,
Yeah.
I already know where it
fine with
falls
that.
for
Yeah.
you. It pretty much falls the same place for me as well.
Yeah.
We could do that, and we can also briefly talk about the other movies if you want as well. But other than that, so The Conjuring 3 came out. It was dropped. It's in the theaters, but it's also on HBO Max. I watched it. My initial thoughts, and I told you this, when I first watched Conjuring 3, I heavily enjoyed it. I thought it was a very, very good inclusion of the franchise and a very good third film within just the Conjuring films. I know there's an entire universe, but within 3 films, I think it rounds up the trilogy nicely. And I'll even go as far as say that when I first watched it, I actually ranked it the second for me. Like, so you got Conjuring 1, which is easily the best. We both agree there.
Yeah.
Then I had Conjuring 3, then I had Conjuring 2. Upon a rewatch of the first 2 films, that changed. But let's go into The Conjuring 3 really quick. We'll just talk about a couple of things. Now, the picture that I used for the background, one of the first shots of the film, that's when the priest comes out of the cab and he's walking to the house. I immediately thought of The Exorcist, and I know you did too.
Of course, yeah.
There were subtle hints. There was one other hint that I caught myself. And then after watching a YouTube channel about, Easter eggs and things you may have missed, that's where I caught a couple of other nods.
Yeah.
The other one that I caught myself was the waterbed. I immediately thought of Elm Street 4.
Nightmare on Elm Street. Yep, definitely.
Yeah. But what I didn't get, obviously the psycho reference that you had said.
Yeah.
There's a shadow in and that's meant to replicate Norman dressed up as mother passing by the window.
Mm-hmm.
And then of course, which I hate that I missed, which was a Shining reference, which was at the end of the film. So when Ed is possessed and he's chasing after Lorraine.
That's right. Oh,
he's got a hammer in his hand.
That's right.
And he's limping like Jack did in The Shining with the axe when he's going after what's her face?
The cultist.
No.
Vera Farmiga. Yeah.
No. I'm talking about The Shining. When Jack goes after
when he's going after Shelley Duvall.
Yeah, but what's her name?
Wendy.
Wendy, that's it. Yeah. So when he's going after Wendy with the axe,
right?
When he's walking through and the kid too, and Danny. I was going to say Andy. Whoever he's chasing when they're in the maze, but he's kind of limping in the snow.
Right.
So that's kind of replicating.
That's cool. You know what? I didn't pick up on that.
I did not pick up on that at all, but that was kind of cool too. So when Ed is limping and chasing after Lorraine with the hammer, or
he's got a sledgehammer.
Sledgehammer. Right. It's meant to replicate Jack going after his family with the axe.
You want to know something? That was the only one part I really didn't like about it. I thought that was a little far-fetched. I didn't really.
What was it far-fetched?
Just, it wasn't believable. Him carrying that and him with the glossy eyes. I thought that was kind of silly to me. Like, I wasn't.
But that's what happened with Arnie Johnson.
No, I know, but I think Arnie Johnson was a little bit more believable than Ed Warren. I think
it's the same premise, though. They were both under a spell.
I get it. No, I get it. I'm just saying, acting wise, I thought it was a little silly.
I thought it was fine. I had no problems with that at all. I thought, first of all, I love Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, no, I like him too. I don't dislike
and I
him
think him and is it Vera or Vera? Vera, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's how I would pronounce it. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah.
Him and so when they're in the films, when I don't get me wrong, and we're not going to really discuss it that much, but when you go along the spin-offs and the side movies, some of them were pretty good. I think the only one I really hated was the first Annabelle. The Nun was okay, but the other ones weren't bad.
I liked the Nun. Yeah.
Now, Annabelle Creation was my favorite.
Yeah, that was
spin-off.
That was the best one.
That was easily the best. But anyway, Annabelle Comes Home. You had Vera and and Patrick Wilson in there. Obviously, they were there. They were playing the Warrens, and it was shot in the Warrens' house. But having them back and just them two together and the way they're acting and I think the acting in this film was great.
The acting was good. Yeah, it was very
I
good.
think the story was great too. My only problem was, and what I came to find out watching one another YouTube video, because they went into some of the things that were cut. There was an end credit scene they cut. There were some deleted scenes they cut, but they also scrapped the idea. Originally, the occultist was going to be working through or with a demon. They created a demon. James Wan is the one that kind of even came up with the idea of the demon. They were so sure that this demon was going to be cool enough, they were going to probably have a spin-off of that demon of his own. So who knows? They might use him in a different movie.
Right.
But they
that
were dead set.
Idea, I think.
But they did reshoots and they scrapped it because apparently it tested poorly in a test audience. They said people were a little bit too confused about the demon and the cultist, so they just went with the occultist, cast a spell on them. To me, when you go to the original Conjuring and then a Conjuring 2 that dealt with demons, you know, in the first Conjuring you had Bathsheba, and in the second Conjuring you had Valak. Those were the two main antagonists. Those were the two demons and villains that they had to fight off. Having a human antagonist she didn't really have supernatural powers. She just dealt with the supernatural.
Right.
And it just, to me, it took a step back story-wise and took a step back from the franchise.
I agree. That's exactly how I feel.
That's why I didn't think this was as good as the first two,
Absolutely.
although it was a good film.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it was a bad movie. I liked the story. I liked the characters. I thought the acting was good. Like I said, the only part I didn't really care for was that part at the end. But other than that, the whole movie I thought was good. I just thought it was like a little lackluster at times. But I thought it was a good movie overall. But I thought it wasn't as scary as the other two.
Right.
You know, I thought the first two was he just let the dog in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I mean, as far as horror, like I wouldn't consider this an actual horror movie. It was more of a supernatural thriller. I think the first two Conjuring was more horror than this one. But I mean, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
No, I wouldn't go that far. I would definitely say horror because you did have, even though we come to find out that it wasn't an actual demon possession.
Right.
So obviously in the beginning of the movie, they try to perform an exorcist on the little kid, right?
Yeah.
I think his name was Danny, right?
David.
I knew it started with D. I'm sorry.
Thinking of Shining again, but yeah.
Again, yeah.
Right.
Although I thought his name was Andy.
That's totally.
So they're trying to perform an exorcism on David, and then obviously Arnie says, "Leave the kid alone. He's just a kid. Take on me.
Right.
Take me on, and then I'll be gone." So, and then obviously we come to find out that that's not what it is. It's a token. It's a witch's token that's underneath the house, or And the other thing that I question, hear me out, and hopefully maybe you can shed some light on this. This was the problem that I had with the movie. This is the only problem. I was okay with Ed getting possessed. I didn't have an issue with that at all. I thought that was pretty cool. Okay. That was also reshot. That was not supposed to happen, but it did.
All right.
When they're at the morgue, which was a creepy scene.
Yeah, that when he was being chased by Meatloaf.
Yeah. Meatloaf was chasing him. Yeah. So when she's has the connection, and she's face to face with the occultist, and she says, "How are you doing this?" Yeah. And she said, "Well, God's allowing me to see this," or whatever she's saying.
Right.
She realizes that the occultist now can use the connection against her.
Exactly.
And now they know
what you said. It works both ways.
And now she knows who they are.
Right.
However, that same night, they find flowers at the house, and the kid said those arrived early yesterday.
Right.
The timeline, unless I missed something, maybe it was more of a time jump than I thought.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I was pretty sure that was in the same day.
Yeah.
That just happened on earlier in the day, and then they went back to the house, and then that's where he was whatever, because that's when he becomes possessed.
Right.
Those flowers couldn't have come previously.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
That's the only thing. That's the only. And again, if anybody's watching this, and if anybody knows what I'm talking about, or even can shed some light on that moment, please let me know. Like I said, maybe it's something I missed, but to me, I think that was the only kind of plot hole, or I mean, there probably were other plot holes, but the one thing that I found that didn't make any sense was the flowers arrived the day prior
That's a
to
good
that
point. Yeah,
that connection.
I actually didn't pick up on that. That's
That
a
was
good
the only
point.
thing that I picked up on. However, I could be wrong. It could be that was the day before, but I'm pretty sure that was the same day.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, let's go. Whatever. You got nice callbacks to the previous films, obviously, and you said that you didn't pick up on this at first, but when another set of flowers gets delivered to the house, she said, "Look what the Perrin family brought or sent us." And if you know from the first Conjuring,
the first movie, that was
with Ron Livingston and Lily
Taylor.
Lily Taylor.
Yeah.
Those are the parents. So the parents actually sent him flowers. That was a cool callback to the first Conjuring movie. Also, in the first Annabelle, the disciples of Ram were actually mentioned. That was the cult that was mentioned in the first Annabelle spin-off film.
Okay.
That's the woman that goes nuts.
I gotta go back and watch these movies again.
So that cult, the disciples of Ram, are actually in there. One of my favorite parts of the film when when they're trying to get the lawyer to claim a demon did it, the devil made me do it, or claim demonic possession or whatever. But she's like, I am not going. I can't. There's no way I can do that. He's like, all right, well, this is what you're gonna do. Come have dinner at our house.
Yeah.
Listen to a couple stories. Take a look at our artifacts or whatever, and then you decide. And then the very next shot is she's at the courthouse, visibly shaken, dude.
Yeah.
And then she puts in the plea for, demonic possession.
Yeah.
That was actually pretty funny. I thought that was really cool. What did you think of too when they're at the station, the police station, and the cop quizzes her, gives her 3 knives, and says, if you could pick the murder weapon, I'll help you out?
Oh.
You remember that?
I'm trying to think now. I don't remember that part. No.
Are you serious, dude? When they go see the cop, they go see a cop, and they get it because they need him. They need his help because he apparently knew.
Yeah, when they're in the car and they're talking to him, and he says, she goes, I actually knew Elvis, and he's like, before.
Yeah, exactly. But the scene prior to that, dude, they were at the police station, and he quizzes her. He takes out the murder weapon.
Yeah. I'm sorry. Yeah. I do remember.
And he takes out just 2 random knives from a separate evidence box.
That's right.
And says, "You pick it." And Ed's like, "You can't do that. You're gonna test my wife or whatever." And she just goes, "It's this one." And they're driving, and he passes the fucking spot where the girl gets killed, and where the body was found. And she goes, "Oh, you passed the it's over there."
Yeah, she knew.
I thought that was cool.
He was like, what? Yeah.
I thought her redoing the crime was cool when she's.
That was awesome. Yeah. I love that part. When
they're in the forest.
Stabbing. Yeah.
They're in the forest and it just goes completely black. I thought that was cool.
That was awesome.
Apparently, that actress played a nun, either in the Nun or one of the Annabelles.
Okay. Yeah, I thought
the one that stabs the girl.
Yeah, the one in the she had like a yellow, like a mustard color sweater or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, she had a mustache. Yes. No, but yes, the one in the mustard color. Yes.
Okay.
So apparently, she also played one of the nuns, and they were gonna have fun with that, but I don't think they did. All right. What else? Because I want to the deleted end credits scene. So yeah, I don't know. How would you probably think the same if they would have had a demon presence or even a demonic possession in this?
I thought it would. I think that would have made it a little bit more scarier
because it still had some good scares. The morgue scene
was definitely creepy. Yeah.
The thing that was going after Arnie, where he thought but it was the landlord just coming after him saying, "Hey, what's up?" And he thought it was a demon.
Not only that, I mean, like the fact that you said the occultist was a human presence. That that I thought was scary. She was scary in herself.
She was, dude. When she snuck up behind her father and slit his throat, I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah.
That was fucking scary. But the other thing too is like, so she was using the possession and she was getting into Ed's head and just giving him visions, but it just, I don't know. It would have been cooler if it would have been actual demons, but
ghosts, Because that's what we're used to seeing with the first two movies. Yeah.
So I told you this because you didn't know this before we went on, but I had told you that this was actually the first Conjuring film that wasn't directed by James Wan.
Right.
This was directed by, I believe, is Michael Chaves.
Yeah.
And he did La Llorona.
Right.
He's the one that directed La Llorona. Here's another interesting tidbit that I just found out last night.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know this, and this is actually new. This isn't something that was done long ago. This is actually new. La Llorona is actually not part.
Yeah, he told me
it's not.
Yeah.
La Llorona was actually taken out of the universe. It was actually literally taken out of the universe because the director felt that it wasn't right for it to be included because the actual team that works on The Conjuring was not included in working on this film.
Okay.
So, but James Wan helped produce this film, and he also co-wrote the film as well.
Okay.
So he did oversee production.
Yeah.
But it's still, you knew it just didn't feel like the first two films.
Without him being behind the camera, I think it would have made it a little bit better if he was there, if he was a director. You know?
I think they changed a couple of things that they shouldn't have. I don't know if it was the directing. I think it was just because they apparently just did some reshoots and changed the story last minute. Yeah. And I think that's what suffered from it because I really felt like they did need an ultimate, like just either a demon presence or whatever. Again, I'm not opposed to them switching it up. You can do. I mean,
you got
to have a demonic possession every fucking movie. They're in a house.
It's too cliche all the time.
You change it up a little bit, of course. Yeah. What are they? You can't exercise every fucking. You know what I mean? So, I get it, but whatever.
Little side note though that I picked up on when I watched one of those YouTube clips that I told you I was watching. They said that Michael Chavez actually he likes to pay homage, like we said, to which a lot of horror movie people do, directors and stuff. So they said that one of the very first horror movies he watched was in fact A Nightmare on Elm Street part.
Yes, yeah, that's why we got the waterbed scene. Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
I thought it was really sick too.
Yeah.
When the kid sees the face.
Yeah.
And just the way the whole, when the kid's being possessed in the beginning and his whole body's twisting, I thought that was really
he's getting the boils and the burn marks all over his neck. Yeah. Contorted and stuff like that.
Even when it took over Arnie, like towards the end when he was up in the air and I was just like, wow.
So yeah, one of the deleted scenes actually had Arnie on top of the place with chains about to jump off and hang himself.
I gotta watch that. That was the extras. These are on HBO Max. I gotta watch the extras.
No, this was on YouTube.
Oh, on YouTube. Okay.
Yeah. What else though? Yeah, no, that was creepy. They also said though another nod to The Exorcist was actually the color pajamas that David was wearing. It was very similar to what Regan was
wearing when she's going down the stairs.
Yes, Regan was wearing the same ones.
That makes sense.
So what else? So basically, I said. This was my take. I wrote it down. I said the lesser of the three films, but still very good. The villains of the film, obviously, Conjuring 1 was Bathsheba, Valak was in 2, and the occultist was in the 3. Mm-hmm. I just felt out of the 3, Valak, which is the nun, or that was the form that she took in Conjuring 2, easily the scariest.
Absolutely.
Easily the fucking scariest, dude.
Actually, and Valak is actually, as we said, she's in the nun as well.
But I will say
that
this.
Is really scary too.
And this is another reason why I'm ranking them Conjuring 1, Conjuring 2, Conjuring 3.
Right.
I watched all 3 of them the last couple of days. I rewatched, as I said, I rewatched Conjuring 3 last night.
Mm-hmm.
I recently watched The Conjuring 2 either earlier this year or late last year, but I'm pretty sure it was just a few months ago. I hadn't seen the original Conjuring in probably about a year or two.
Right.
Now, it could have been because I was home alone. Dude, here's what I did. So earlier that day, I went to the store, bought my own toothbrush, some milk and other things. I came home, I showered, I put some aftershave on my face. I was like, ah! And then I watched the scary movie because I was home alone. Yeah. So anyway, I got to say, dude, and I've seen The Conjuring a few times. I was scared shitless. I was scared. Like it literally.
You watch a movie by yourself, a horror movie, and
in the dark,
you're home by yourself, and there's
and I had the lights turned off. I didn't have the lights on.
Fucking hearing noises too. And hear,
no, it wasn't even that, dude. I started seeing fucking figures and shapes in my hallway.
I believe it
because it's dark.
Yeah.
So the mind plays tricks on you, but I'm telling you, dude, it just made me feel so unsettling, and it It was scary. And this is a movie I've seen several times.
Yeah.
This movie, The Conjuring 3, didn't do that.
Yeah, no.
It had jump scares.
Yeah,
it
jump scares, but not like, oh my God, scary.
Yeah, no, this did not make me feel as
not
scared.
like the first two movies, yeah.
Yeah.
The first two movies, you jump out of your skin.
And as I said earlier before we came on too, I thought The Conjuring 2 was as equally scary, not as scary, but definitely up there in scares. My only issue with The Conjuring 2, which is a character that you said and it was supposed to get a movie about, is the Crooked Man.
Mm-hmm.
I just felt it looked a little too cartoonish and fake. Scary nonetheless, but it just seemed it didn't belong in the movie. They would have just stuck with the old man and Valak, it would have been fine.
Definitely.
But yeah, so as I said, rewatching The Conjuring 2. Oh, so this is what I thought of. This is what I noticed. And then after I seen this myself, I actually took a snapshot of it on my television. I never noticed it when I watched the movies originally.
Right.
But I'm rewatching The Conjuring 2 last night, and then around 43 minutes in, there's a scene where Lorraine is the kid, her daughter is kind of like drawing or doing whatever. I forgot what she's doing.
Lorraine's daughter?
Yeah.
Judith, right? Judith was her name? Yeah.
Something like that, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Lorraine kind of falls asleep. But she's sitting there with the Bible in her hand or whatever. She falls asleep, and that's where she gets the image of Valak. Valak comes to her, haunting her, chasing her, fucking choking her, and whatever.
Right.
And then she wakes up and she's writing shit in her Bible. And I never realized that on the fucking bookshelf, and apparently from what I found out in a YouTube video after watching that, there's about 5 other times you see her name.
The Valak, right?
Valak's name is actually on the bookshelf.
I've seen that today too. I noticed that when, well, not when I watched the movie, but obviously when the Easter egg video that I watched.
Yeah, so I'm like, holy shit! I just realized that it's like Valak, and I'm like,
rewatch the second movie. Yeah,
I was like, that spells fucking Valak. So that was kind of cool.
That is cool. Yeah.
But there's so you watched the Easter egg video. So yeah, there's a few other spots. Even with the daughter's making like bracelets or
and it said Valak in the bracelet.
Yeah, Valak in the bracelet or whatever she's making, a necklace. Yep. Apparently it says Valak on the wall.
The windowsill.
Yeah.
By the wall.
Yeah, exactly. So there's a few whoever it was trying to tell her name all along. So I thought that was kind of cool. But and then also in The Conjuring 3, another thing that was brought to my attention by the YouTube video was when what's her face? Who's the girl that Arnie likes? What's the daughter's name?
Is it Elizabeth? Is that him?
I don't know.
I can't
Something
remember.
Getzel, whatever.
That's the last name.
Yeah. She Julia Ann, that's what it is. It's the last thing you made me look up.
Debbie Glatzel.
Okay, Glatzel. Okay.
Yeah.
So when Arnie, after Arnie takes on the demon, Arnie's asleep or whatever, she goes to wake him up.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, "Oh, you were sleeping all day." They were in the same bed. On the bookshelf or on some little shelf is a small little figure of a nun.
Yeah, I see.
So that was
I noticed that in the movie, but I didn't put it together in my head.
Yeah. So that was a cool callback to the nun.
Oh yeah.
So that's probably another movie that now I did see the nun once. I wasn't crazy about it, but I do want to rewatch it only because of how scary Valak is.
Yeah, exactly.
Also I think it's cool that Vera's younger sister's in it.
Mm-hmm.
What is it, Tessa? What's her name?
Tessa. Yep.
And it's just like, look, it's the origin story of Valak.
Years ago, I actually thought it was, for some reason, I thought it was her daughter. I didn't think.
So did I.
Yeah.
No, you're not the only one, dude. I made that same mistake too.
Watching American Horror. I said, is that her daughter?
I thought the same thing too, but no, that's her younger sister.
Okay.
But yeah, I do want to rewatch The Nun, and I want to rewatch.
I want to watch the Annabelle movies again.
Annabelle Comes Home. I already know Annabelle Creation's the best.
Yeah.
Annabelle Comes Home, I think, loses me a little bit with the werewolf scene. I don't know if you remember. There's a werewolf scene.
I do remember that. Yeah,
that lost me. I was like, all right, you're losing me there a little bit.
Throwing me off. Yeah.
Yeah. You know,
It takes away from the story and the movie.
yeah. I mean, are we watching the Universal monsters or are we watching the Conjuring?
Are we watching Little Red Riding Hood? No.
What's going on?
Yeah.
He's like, I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll get in your muff. But yeah, so I'm assuming that you're ranking them the same way, right? First one's the best, second
Absolutely.
one.
Conjuring 2, and then Conjuring the Devil Made Me Do It.
Now, I'm going to do it quickly, and I know some things can change on based on a rewatch. But if I needed to do the the 7 total, I believe there's 7. But I'm going to spell them out really quick. And then we'll count them. I'm pretty sure there's 7. If I had to do a complete ranking, Conjuring 1 is still up there for me.
Yeah.
Right. Actually, you know what? I sent this to Kitty, so I want to just stay consistent. Hold on. Okay, so this is what I have it as. Excuse me. Yeah, there is 7. I was right. Because remember, La Llorona.
Yeah, it's not
on.
Yeah.
Conjuring 1, favorite, best.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go Annabelle Creation number 2.
Okay.
Because I love the origin story of Annabelle. I thought it was a nice way to tell that story, especially after the horrible, the shit movie we got. Dude, when I went to see Annabelle in, what was it, whatever it came out, was it 2014, 2015? I think it was 2014.
Okay.
Yeah, 2014.
With that.
It was fucking horrible. Like, I almost wanted to walk out of the fucking theater. That's how bad it was. The people in the theater, including myself, were making fun of the fucking film.
Wow.
Yeah. So I go Annabelle Creation number 2. I'm going to go the second Conjuring number 3.
Okay.
Here's where it could switch based on another watching. I have Annabelle Comes Home 4, then Conjuring 3. I want to rewatch Annabelle Comes Home, give it the benefit of the doubt.
Mm-hmm.
That might swap. I actually might swap Conjuring 3 and Annabelle Comes Home at 4 and 5. 6 is The Nun, and then of course my least favorite is Annabelle, the first one.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you had, do you have one in mind or?
I mean, I can't really. I mean, I could try and rank them, but I really, honestly, would like to watch a lot of them again, so we can maybe possibly do a show in the future and just go like a show based on the Conjuring universe. And maybe we can get Kitty involved in that one, hopefully.
Yeah. All right. But, so I wish you would have told. Wish you would have told me that. I wouldn't have.
I mean,
you know what?
Suppose it changes later. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to say it now, and then I'm committed to it. So
you're not committed to it, and like you said,
all right, so if I had to,
but you're right because I could rewatch Annabelle Comes Home and
change your mind
and even The Nun. Right. I can come out with a completely different list.
I enjoyed The Nun a lot. I thought The Nun was really scary.
All right, so maybe I need to rewatch The Nun. Yeah. And see whatever. But I think easily the first 2 on the list, Conjuring and Annabelle Creation, that won't change.
I'll go along with you and say the first Annabelle is obviously the worst one.
Yes. No, there's no denying.
Yeah.
That's the other thing that won't ever change. Annabelle 1, that's at the bottom. Number 7.
I will say that I'm probably going to watch it again just to.
I won't. I won't because I know how bad it is. I won't watch it. Just same thing, same way I won't watch Fly 2. Nope. Nope. Not after the whole dogs thing. Nope. Can't do it. Can't do it. And can we please, dude? Would you crawl under a house with rats? Now, when she ultimately goes down.
Yeah, in the basement.
And she's in the basement, or no, not even. It's a crawl space, not even a basement.
Right, crawl space. Yeah. She's
in the crawl space under the house. She sees the one rat. She yells, and that's when Ed's like, "Yo, Lorraine, you're right. Yo, Lorraine." It's a combination of Rocky and George McFly.
You want me to get Paulie?
So, she's on the house. Then she sees the next thing over, where the token is, but obviously it's wrapped, so she needs to investigate and see what this thing is.
Yeah,
not token. I don't know why it's totem. She sees the witch's totem, but we don't know it's a witch's totem yet. But she sees something there. She wants to investigate what it is. Dude, there's like fucking 50 rats over there. I ain't fucking going.
Well, you could say the rats. They could have been field mice. We don't necessarily know, considering where they.
No, dude, field mice are this big.
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
You know the difference between a field mice and a rat.
Yeah,
those were fucking rats. And she's just like, yeah, you know what? The one scared me, but the 30 of them around me, I'm going to crawl right through them. I would have been like, dude,
He was just pushing him out of the way like it was nothing.
if I was her, I would have been like, you know what, Ed, you're right. You need to go down there. I don't care about your bum heart. But yeah. So all right, guys. Let us look. For those of you that are watching this at home, let us know what you thought of The Conjuring 3 and where it falls in your ranking in the Conjuring universe. And if you haven't seen the Conjuring films, you can just say which one you liked out of the three. You know, what's your ranking of the three? And James is right. Maybe we will do a more in-depth, like a conversation.
Yeah.
You know, kind of what we did back in last October with the Saturday Night Frights. You know,
which we had a lot of fun with those.
Yeah. I did. And The Conjuring wasn't a franchise that we chose to talk about. So, yeah, maybe we can just do it based on that. But yeah, I did enjoy Conjuring 3. And look, I will say this, and even Kitty said it. We were excited about doing this. That's why I hate that she wasn't able to come on.
Yeah.
We were excited about doing this review because, we watch Mortal Kombat, Godzilla versus Kong. There was a lot of things that got released on HBO Max that we watched and we reviewed. And it felt like we were giving all these movies bad reviews, but they're just they're not good.
Yeah.
So it was a breath of fresh air to get a movie that I enjoyed.
Yeah.
It wasn't slow. It didn't bore me. It had its jump scares. I love the acting. It it's a perfect addition to the trilogy, and it's a perfect way to not necessarily end the trilogy. I'm sure there's going to be a fourth movie.
Yeah.
In fact, as I said, they had an end credit scene planned, but they're going to probably use it in a different way.
Okay.
And that was to tease something up in the future. But I thought it was. I think as a whole, as a trilogy, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was good. Like I said, I thought it dragged a little bit, but I mean, overall,
definitely not.
Overall, it was a good movie.
I thought pacing was great. There wasn't one part of this film that I was like, oh my God, how much longer? Or this feels like a long movie. This was
not that. Honestly, I only felt that way after the second time I watched it. First time I watched it, I didn't think so.
Well, that's because you already seen it.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, nothing dragged, dude. This was actually a pretty quick, what was it, an hour and 52?
Something like that.
Yeah, I know it was under 2 hours. It's, dude, if you think this dragged, The Conjuring 2 is almost 2 hours.
Reviews, quite a few other people said that they thought it dragged too.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at IMDb, I mean, that's
IMDb is total trash. IMDb is bullshit. I will never go by what IMDb is because IMDb, you literally don't even have to watch the film to fucking write a review.
Oh yeah, you showed me that.
Yeah, IMDb is not something. If anybody's ever going now, if you go to Rotten Tomatoes, the people that were verified, the people that were actually certified that watched the film, the audience score is 85%. It's the critics that gave it 58.
Right.
Which I don't see why, but the audience loved it. But but as a whole, if you're gonna compare it with the last two, it's not as good as the first two films.
Right.
But all right, dude, let me know. You're gonna go rewatch the second one.
I'm probably gonna watch the second one. Yeah.
Let me know what you what do you think of that when you rewatch it and see if there's anything that you missed watching it. But yeah, man, I love this franchise. I really do. And like you said, maybe the fact that James Wan didn't direct this film is what, maybe.
I'm hoping that he's back for the next one, and I'm hoping that it's a lot more scarier.
Yeah, I really hope the next installment's not going to be The Crooked Man. I don't want that to be the next thing we get from this. I just don't know what else they can do.
He did Insidious too.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
I thought those were really scary too.
And Patrick Wilson's in it too.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. Which is confusing, but Insidious.
The first two were really good.
Yeah. Insidious came out first.
Yeah.
So Insidious was the first one to come out. Then the movie Sinister.
2010. Yeah.
Then Sinister came out, and then The Conjuring. But all three films, dude, that first time. So when you and I went to see Insidious in the theater, dude, we were fucking scared.
The little man, that was sick.
Dude, the little man, but dude,
running through the house.
When that demon was on that fucking porch or something outside, and all of a sudden he just appears inside in the house, we're like, what the fuck? Yeah, that was a creepy. Yeah. But but that's what the first Conjuring did too. The first Conjuring, dude, Bathsheba, as much as Valak is a scarier antagonist and a scarier looking demon, just the way she's dressed, her eye makeup or whatever. Bathsheba, those scenes in The Conjuring, dude. When
She's above the doorway when and the kid's saying, "I see it right there," and then you just see it like leaning over. When you first
no,
look, at it,
what
you
a,
don't see anything, and then
when Lorraine is in the basement when she falls through
right, yeah,
and she's by the stairs,
mm-hmm.
and all of a sudden you see Bathsheba's feet
Right, yeah,
because she's hanging.
right, yeah.
And then she dude, it turns and then just floats towards her. Dude, I was just thinking about being in a dark basement, seeing that shit, dude. I don't know what I would fucking do. Like that was some fucking scary shit. But yeah, you're right. So,
I'm dead right there.
dude, that scene when she's on the cupboard, when she's on the closet,
Yeah,
like
yep.
she just looks up and you just see like this. She's like,
Yeah, that was sick.
I mean, she does make kind of a funny face.
He also did a movie. I don't know if you've seen it by Dead Silence.
No.
There was about another doll. It was from 2007. It came out. You should definitely check that out. That was a good movie too.
All right.
James Wan.
But James Wan, no, look, he does really good horror films. He does.
Definitely. Yeah.
You know, like you said, the Saw films. And then of course we got the first Conjuring films. But again, he wasn't like he wasn't involved in the Conjuring 3. He just didn't direct it.
Yeah.
But he co-wrote it, produced it.
Yeah.
He was overseeing production, like he was hands-on with this film.
Heavily involved in the movie. Yeah.
So that's why I don't think and I said Chaves, I'm sorry. I didn't think Michael Chavez actually did a bad job. I don't think it was his direction.
No, I
just
think he did a bad job.
Yeah, no, I just think that the story it wasn't as strong or it wasn't as scary as the original two. That's it.
That's a good point.
That's it.
It's not as strong. Yeah.
That's it. All right, guys. Let me know what you thought of the movie in the comments. Let me know what you think how it ranks in the 3 films as a trilogy. Obviously smash that like button and subscribe for future content. James, it was a pleasure having you on. It's been a while, and we got to do other things soon, dude, because I have a lot of ideas. It's just I don't know when other people. I'm okay with doing just on one-on-one. I'm fine.
Whatever you want to do.
But I just like the streams that
if I'm game, I'm in.
I just like the streams that we did. A bunch of people.
Yeah, even the trivia ones, like we said, we could do a Sopranos trivia, even like you said. Oh, we want to do a Sopranos. I know we talked about the Sopranos.
Sopranos trivia wouldn't be bad, but yeah, no, I just wanted to do. That was the one thing I was thinking of is like our top 5 favorite Sopranos episodes.
That's a good.
But what do you call it? Trivia's not bad either.
Yeah,
not a bad idea. But yeah, we'll see. But my main what's the word I'm looking for? The main thing I'm trying to express is that one-on-one episode streams are okay.
Yeah.
But if we had another person talking about this film or even four people's opinions,
it makes it more interesting.
Yeah. It does. It does. I agree. You and me both, sister. All right, James, enjoy your night. Everybody else enjoy your nights, and I will see you guys soon.
Take care, guys.
All right. Take care. Have a good night. Have a good gay, guys.